Hello. Gosh, I'm a long way up. So, can you hear me? Yes? Who speaks English? Okay. I'm Australian, so I will try and speak slowly, which is really hard for an Australian, okay? So, if you don't understand, just stick your hand up, okay? And I'll try and slow down. So, thank you for having me here. This is very exciting. So, how would you feel if you opened your inbox for your email and this is what you saw? Would you feel a bit like, oh my goodness, this is the worst? All it says is urgent PHP, lots of PHP. So you're a PHP developer and this is your inbox. How on earth are you going to be heard trying to get the attention of that person over that? How does he know which email to answer? And just because you think your role's urgent, whoever that person is doesn't. It's not urgent to them. So I'm going to talk a little bit about being heard over that and how you can be heard. And also, for those of you who use the words, I came across your profile on, so you came across your profile on GitHub or LinkedIn or Stack Overflow, 80% reduction in response rate. So just by starting with something that's about the person receiving the email, you'll get a better response rate. So my whole presentation to you is about how instead of candidates ignoring your emails when you found them, you can get a better response rate. Simple as that. But the other thing I really want to talk about is the fact that you are also under review. So we spend a lot of our time, and your hiring managers do, looking at people's profiles. Well, guess what? They're looking at you. And that's one really, really easy way to get candidates to respond better, is to actually look like somebody who deserves someone's time. So, I'm Katrina Collier. As she said, I don't know what she said in the introduction, I hope it was polite. I have been spending the last nearly 10 years teaching recruiters how to source on social media, but also how to get a response from people. I run the social recruiting show on Friday with Uznать, which is a huge chat show with lots of talent acquisition professionals. And more importantly, I have just written a book, which is coming out in August, which you can pre-order at the moment, which is all about that. I'm a recruiter, people are ignoring me, how can I get them to respond? That's what the entire book is about, so I'm super excited about that. But everything that I talk to you about isn't just my opinion. This is the opinion of all of the places I've got to go to speak, hearing from yourselves, from HR and recruiters, and that's a handful of my clients across the bottom as well, just to give you an idea of who I've heard this from. So it's not just my opinion. So, you're a job seeker, you're changing jobs. Actually, who has changed jobs in the last year? New job, right? It was scary, wasn't it? Do you remember? And you put in your job application and you're wondering if you're going to get an interview, and then you go through the interview process and you're like, am I going out of the frying pan into the fire? Is the job going to be worse? It's scary. Yeah? So there's about 5 of you who remember. For those of you who've been in your job longer, you need to remember what that felt like. That moment of changing jobs and the apprehension that goes with it. Because I think day to day in HR and recruitment we forget because we're busy. So moving to a worse environment is a big one. So you start and you're like, oh, I went through the interview, they seemed great, but actually when I got there it was awful. So that's a big concern for job seekers. Being misrepresented or recruiters not understanding them is also hugely important. Who does technical recruitment? So developers and people like that. Actually, not that many of you. So, but for those particularly, they don't think that we understand them. So therefore, they're really concerned, how can you sell me to the hiring manager if you don't understand what I do? So that's another concern. And also lack of clarity and certainty. So all the way through the process, you want to know, well, what's going on? I've come in and had an interview. Where's my feedback? Am I going to the next stage, or is this it? So it's the sort of stuff where if you solve these problems, candidate engagement full stop will improve. So back in the day when you were changing jobs, you could get on the telephone, for some of us that are old enough that remember what that was, and would call people. And you could only talk to maybe a handful of people who knew what it was really like to work inside that company. But the difference now is that you can go to Glassdoor. Do you have Glassdoor here in Russia? Has it got here yet? So it's like believe me, this took me 5 years to work out, the glass door to your company so everyone can see in. I didn't get it. But it's a site that will end up here in Russia at some point, where people can go and see what the employees and the candidates are saying about the company and the interview process. It's really transparent. But there are all of these other sites as well that are coming. So if they're not here yet, they'll end up here. And people can write comments. So Indeed is a great big job board aggregator, so it often comes up the top of Google and you click into the job and there are all of these reviews. Google for Jobs, which you'll also end up with at some point, also when you click in, will also show all of the company's reviews. So if you're not looking after your people and they're writing that on the internet, people won't want to work for you. If you don't look after people through the interview process, they also won't want to work for you. So when we talk about candidate engagement, you think, but I'm just sending a message, I want to reply to my message. But they don't have to reply. They can look at you personally and they can look at the company and decide whether they're going to reply or apply. But the other place that they can also find reviews is just right there on the maps, whether it's Yandex Maps or Google Maps. So this is the venue here and it has 209 reviews that people have written. And if any of those are about how the staff are being treated, again, it's right on the map. So you, in HR, you send your interview, like, please come interview at the company. Here's the address, here's a map link, and on the map link is this awful review. So be really aware that the power is shifted right to the employee and the candidate. So watch out for those reviews. But the other thing, of course, people can do is go and look on all of the social media sites. So not only can they see, like amongst the 2.2 billion Facebook users in the UK and Europe, for example, maybe on LinkedIn, less so here. I appreciate you have to use a VPN here. They could even go and look on VK, all of those sites, and see what people are saying about you. But you, again, you're trying to get in that inbox and be heard, are up against all of the noise. I can see lots of you right now, you're on your phones, you're taking photos, you're sharing, you're reading your emails. It's like the constant distraction, right? But you want your email to be heard about that job. You're fighting that. So your email has to really stand out. It has to be captivating to the person reading it. They want to go, oh my goodness, I really want to talk to that Katrina Collier. She understands me. She's done her research. That's what you want. So, that being represented poorly, they also want reassurance against that. It's very easy to find things like this. We're looking for a junior developer with the experience of a senior developer and we're paying the salary of an intern. Now, I appreciate that's a joke, but the fact that it's been retweeted 8,185 times shows that it happens too often. So I was training, I know we've just had somebody that was ex-Badoo. I trained Badoo in London this week. And when I was there, they have this issue with salary. So they'll have a salary band that they can offer, but when they go to offer, the hiring manager wants to pay way less. So HR is sitting there going, but you said I could pay this amount. Why are you now saying I can only pay this amount? And it embarrasses them on the marketplace. So it is a problem that you need to sort up front. You need to push back with your hiring managers saying the candidates and the employees are in charge now. There are more jobs than there are people. But there's also this, recruiters lie about salaries, like going the other way. So I got a call from a recruiter about a job that I didn't apply for to see if I was interested. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he was told a salary. And then he went to the internet and looked at the job description and the salary was more. That's like crazy. So be aware that people can see through, so be honest with them straight off the bat. Watch out for stuff like that. So when you're looking to present yourself in such a way that you look honest and that people want to work with you, start with your social media profiles because they're going to look at you. I send you an email, you go, who's Katrina Collier? You look her up. Does she look like someone worth talking to? It's really easy stuff. So I know LinkedIn's not big here, but it's in my presentation anyway. If you are using it, fill out your profile. But more importantly, for the ones that are bigger here, the Twitter and Instagram. If you're using Instagram from a recruitment point of view, go and fill it out. I feel like this is miles away. I'm just going to walk all the way back here. But you can see me back here, can you? Fill out your bio, okay? So when you follow someone on Instagram or Twitter, they look at the bio and go, oh, I understand what she does, I'll follow her back. Once you're following each other, you can talk. Have the same profile picture across all of the social networks that you want to be found on. Because they're looking at you anyway, so why not set it up in such a way that you look like somebody worth talking to? that you deserve their time. And then obviously you've got your photos that you share. For Instagram, I think you should have 2 accounts if you have children. Have a separate one where you share all of those photos of your kids and it's very private. And then have a more public one that's about your working life and perhaps about your social life, but not your children. Mine is obviously full of dogs. Actually, there are no dogs in that, which is unusual. Normally it is. If you go and follow me, you'll see it's all about dogs. But people talk to me about that before they talk to me about the work. And then it's the same with the Twitter and Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever professional social networks that you're using to recruit on. But also Facebook. Facebook is much more interesting. I know it's not as popular here as it is perhaps in the rest of Europe, but if you're recruiting for Europe, you need to know this. Fill out your bio. Make sure that your profile picture and your banner shot are vaguely professional, okay? I know it's a personal site, but you're being looked at. You don't want it to be anything that's like a bit untoward. Set your 9 photos. Those 9 photos represent my life, my speaking, my training, my charity work, and my dogs, obviously, and the fact I love to go and travel. That's me. So it gives somebody something to talk to about other than, oh, a job. And then also, if you are on VK, I know you guys really just use it to share music and stuff, but just check that it does represent you well. Because it's not about you not wanting to use it for recruitment, it's about the fact people look at you. So just check, just make sure you look okay. And then share some updates on those more personal sites that are a bit more professional. So you're kind of going, I'm talking about my job, I'm excited about my job, we're a company to come and work for. So I did a fundraising thing for my birthday, very easy to do. But then there's some updates. So Claire shared something about an event she was running. So you could share something about today. I've come and I've invested in myself to do some training, and that's going to really help me. I'm at this conference. Even though you're sharing that on a personal site, it makes you look a bit more professional. So for those, share those publicly and share those personal stuff privately. And then this is just me on my show on a Friday, you know, and so I'm sharing that to my friends. My friends don't care that I share it, they just ignore me if they don't like it. But it goes out publicly, so I look again like somebody worth talking to. And then that last point of what they're looking for, that making sure that you're providing the clarity and the certainty. I mean, the lady in the front, when you were going through, you just wanted to know where you were in the process, right? Did I get the job? Didn't I get the job? Am I getting another interview? What's going on? If it was a no, why? It's just common sense. So I had this very strange situation. Has anyone been to London? Who's been to London, right? So this might look vaguely familiar. It's the train map. You've probably seen the tube map. But I'm one of these days, this is my home. I'm walking down from Charing Cross train station and I have a choice. There are 2 trains, they're 3 minutes apart. One is going to Blackheath and one's going to Lee. And I've decided to go to Blackheath because it's a little bit nicer walk home. And I'm walking all the way to the front of this 10-carriage train. That takes quite a while, right, Ellie? And I'm walking and I kept checking the sign and it kept telling me that it was a Blackheath train, which is good. So if I get on the front carriage, I'm going to get delivered right where I want to get off. I'll be home in 10 minutes. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. But as the train took off, it suddenly told me I was going to Greenwich. Greenwich is at the bottom of a big hill. It is 1.5 miles from my home at the bottom of a big hill. I'm way too lazy to walk up the big hill at the best of times, let alone when I'm in work shoes, needing to get home for a conference call. The train has pulled out of Charing Cross Station. I'm in nowhere, like the middle of nowhere, and here it is saying, you're going to the wrong place. I completely panicked. To me, that is exactly like having 2 job offers, which a lot of the people we're recruiting have. And even from the moment you've offered them, right through to the day they start, they're still interviewing because they're still not 100% sure whether they should have gone to Lee or Blackheath train stations. So never forget that. You need to provide clarity and certainty all the way through so that they know that from that offer, when they start, it's genuinely that. And 6 months into the process, if you're involved in onboarding. So from pre-boarding right through onboarding. Thankfully, my train did go to Blackheath. It was just an error, just in case you care. So then, give them some social proof before they start, during the interview process. Show them what it's really like inside your company. None of this polished stuff that marketing want you to put out, genuine, gritty stuff. The easiest way to do that is with a corporate hashtag. So, for example, at the top one, it's like life at CA. So CA Technologies in the US, thank you, that's perfect. I didn't know I was getting a 10-minute thing, that's really cool. I'm actually running early. If you look at the hashtag life at CA, you will see what it's like to genuinely work in CA Technologies. This is Dell. So Dell, you know the computers? Dell were actually incredibly stuffy and formal, and they were not attracting younger people. So they said, we're going to create Life at Dell, the hashtag, and they've actually got accounts called that, and we're going to share genuine photos of what it's like to work here. No polished PR, genuine photos. So if you go and have a look at their accounts, you'll see really cute things like this, where somebody shared a photo and they've reposted it using Repost app, all on Instagram, where 1 billion people are, and it's like a cute little kid, you know, and someone's working from home that day with their child. That's genuinely what it's like. So rather than telling people, we have flexible hours, we have a work from home policy, we have bring your dog to work policy, etc., you can show them. So just by having that corporate hashtag, you can gather, if you get all of your staff to use that when they publicly share a photo, you can use that as free promotion. It's very, very easy, and it's genuine. People buy into this because we're a bit skeptical about the polished. Tell stories as well. So this is ThoughtWorks. They're a big IT consultancy, and this is their blog. And what I love is when you go to the main page of ThoughtWorks, right on the main page is their blog. When you go in there, you'll see career hacks. So that's all information for people for their careers, be it their clients, be it their staff, be it the candidates, future employees. And it's like right there in your face. And some of the stuff in there is really raw. I mean, strong stories about diversity and what it's genuinely like to work in the company that their employees have written because they felt they could. But what that really shows is the inclusivity. So it's not just a case of, hey, we're really diverse, come and work for us, we're 50% women. It's actually showing we genuinely are. So cannot recommend enough. Am I talking too fast? Sorry. I talk fast. This is genuinely showing what it's like inside. So again, even though I'm talking about getting a candidate's attention, they're going to look at this and go, actually, I really want to hear more about ThoughtWorks because I can see the proof. And then provide that clarity. This is Carbon Black, an IT company as well. And it's really simple. They show the steps all the way through the process for working at the company. And when it comes to the offer, they're saying, you know, after all the interviews are completed, you'll find out whether you've got a verbal offer or a written offer. Then you're going to get your contract. And most importantly, they say the recruiter will touch base with you regularly. If you have a problem with people taking the offer and not starting, that's exactly where you need to improve your process, which is often that handover from recruitment to HR. And then, of course, they talk about what happens when you start as well. That initial period when you start at a job is terrifying, and we tend to forget about that day to day because we're so busy trying to get bums on seats that we just forget. So that's another important part. Show exactly what the process is and then make sure that's what you deliver. So to be non-robotic, as I call it, I know you'll hear talks about AI is going to take over our world, and you know we can use technology to source and hire and everything that people won't want to talk to a human. I disagree completely. I think it is so terrifying changing jobs that we want to have the empathy and the understanding from a human being. I understand what you're going through, Mr. or Mrs. Candidate. I feel for you. I've been through it myself. I'm going to help you. This is your career. This is why people will still, you know, self-checkout in the supermarket. People will still go to the human being to actually pay for their shopping. They don't necessarily want to use the machine because some of us like the human touch. And that's just a mundane transaction like shopping. So I believe for recruitment that, you know, there is always going to be the human touch. But put that human first. Remember all the time, it is scary to change jobs. They could make a big mistake. Provide empathy and compassion. Just put yourself in their shoes and remember what it felt like. And then keep tech firmly in its supporting role all the time. The tech will assist you. The tech will save you time. Use it for that. If you are currently assessing any form of technology for your HR or recruitment process, how does this benefit the candidate? How does this benefit the hiring manager? Where is this going to save me time? They're your questions. Don't even think about purchasing it unless it is actually going to make the process easier, and walk through the process. Get them to prove to you where they've saved another company time and money. And that's it. I'm done. Hopefully I've got Q&A time. Thank you. Right. I have to hand off something. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
I have to pull out my phone, apparently.
For very interesting.
Someone's going to interpret for me.
Yeah. Ребят, есть
Are there
вопросы?
questions?
Yeah,
I have this thing. I don't know that it's going to work.
Just a moment.
I can't even get them to sit in my ears. So
I can speak in English.
You can just interpret if you want. I have to use this thing, apparently.
Katrina, thank you so much for an amazing speech.
Thank you. It's in English, I know.
My name is Olga, and I'm working in IT agency.
Yep.
So I'm very much interested, let's say, how I can help myself to write these emails,
yep,
so candidates will open mine.
Yep.
Because you understand that obviously I'm not in charge of the whole process if I'll be working in-house in the company.
Yep. Okay, so you're in a recruitment agency?
Yeah.
Okay, so even more important for you to look like somebody worth someone's time. So you really do need to fill out those profiles, make sure you present yourself well, make sure you share lots of knowledge about the industry, so they go, okay, she's worth my time. Okay, because I mean, particularly this is really bad. The IT recruiters in the UK are the worst. Right? They are the worst. Okay, it's known across Europe that they're really bad. Okay, so they really have to do that, and you're fighting against them as well, because we're all fighting for the same pool of technology people wherever they are in the world. So present yourself well, show your knowledge, and then that email is all about them. You start with the word you. You know, in advertising, it's all you. You never hear I. We write our emails with an I. Like, I saw your profile, I want to talk to you about my job, and they're like... But the other thing to be aware of, on top of using you, is they mightn't be available right now. So, particularly women, if we are not a 100% match for the job and we're not available right now, we'll just say no. So, what are you doing next? Rather than, I want to talk to you about this role right now. So you could be, I recruit around Java developers. You know, I'm regularly talking to people to see where they are in their process, so I know maybe in 12 months I need to talk to you about what you're doing. Can we chat? So it's less pressure for them, but just make sure you know your stuff first. And then follow up. So the big thing is lots of recruiters send one email. They don't send the second, the third that it might take. They don't then switch onto another network. So perhaps you send 2 emails, you then send a WhatsApp message. Please watch the timing of your WhatsApp message, okay? Weekday. I get them at 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday. That is wrong, okay? Don't do that. Weekday, you know, consider it. And then it could be you follow them on Twitter, you engage with them there, you share something, you comment on a blog post. So you might have to do multiple times. So it's much more than that one email, if that makes sense. So... Thank you.
Any questions? Can I ask one more question, please?
She's great. Her questions are in English. Sorry, my Russian, I didn't yet.
It's okay. Can you give a kind of a life hack how I can become a great international recruiter, not just, let's say, a recruiter who works for Russia?
How you can become a great international recruiter? Be interested. Be very interested in your candidates for a start. So I would pick, so you're in technology? So I would pick something that's growing. So say you went data science. I'm going to be all about data science. I'm going to talk to all of the data scientists across the planet, understand their skills, understand what they do, understand their pain points. And then it's just a case of always adding value, paying it forward. You know, it's not about you and your paycheck, which of course it is, but it's not. It's about how can I put this person in a great job so they refer me other people, how they want to work with me. But as far as the international goes, they're all out there. They're all on Twitter, for example. You have to use your naughty VPN to get onto LinkedIn. Obviously, they're on LinkedIn. They don't like us on LinkedIn, okay, because they get bombarded with messages on LinkedIn. But, you know, you try one of the other networks where they are. Try Kaggle for data science, for example. But just go and engage. But just remember all the time, human being behind that profile. And how would I want to be treated? Is that a question? Yes. Is it in English? Yes. Oh. Sorry, guys. It's really bad. I should have learnt Russian before I got here, but I can't even manage English, so...
My name is Yuri.
Hello.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Human being is the first, really. It's very important.
Be human.
So, maybe it's off top, but I want to ask about which in IT recruitment agency worldwide, in your opinion, are the best?
Which IT recruitment agency in the world's best?
Yes.
Wow. I so can't answer that question. I would be shot. I actually, personally, don't think it is the agency. I think it's the person. So back when I did IT recruitment, I worked for Spring Technology. And Spring Technology as a company was actually quite pants. I'm trying not to swear. They were not very good. Yeah, there's a word that starts with S that would say it so much better. But it was me. So the candidates came to me because they liked the way I treated them. So I'm not answering your question because it isn't one agency. It is the person at whatever company who understands the technology, understands how to recruit and treats people really, really well.
So why I'm asking? Because I'm working at
yeah, you work in the Netherlands.
IT recruitment.
Yeah.
And we have an agency, and we need to have some kind of, idol or something who we can looking for improvement in our own work.
Honestly, look at some of the in-house recruiters.
In-house.
Yeah, because the in-house recruiters are doing an unbelievable job. They have the upper hand because, like you were saying, you're on the outside. It's very hard to go and get a really good intake, get a good job description from the hiring manager. But they are the ones doing the better job in a lot of respects. Internationally, I would look at somebody like Steve Levy, who comes out of the US, as an individual IT recruiter, engineering recruiter who's extraordinary. Mm-hmm. But he works in-house and freelance. So did you say you're in Amsterdam?
No.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said you're in Amsterdam, sorry. Don't know where that came from. So you're here, but in IT?
Yeah, I'm from Moscow.
But doing stuff like this, getting out and meeting people is a lot of it. But it really does come down to the individual. So it's sort of finding them. Where's Ellie? Ellie might throw a name at me. Are there any thoughts?
No, I agree. It's the person providing.
Yeah. I can have a think, but I just can't think of one off the top of my head, and I'm so not going to name an agency. You'll all shoot me. So, are there any more? Or you're like, oh my God, give me coffee? Nope. I feel like I'm really high up here. Am I out of time or am I okay?
Yeah, we have time.
We have time. How
5
awesome.
minutes.
We have 5 whole minutes to listen to me. Aren't you lucky? This is what an Australian sounds like. Unless you watch Neighbours, then you sound like Kylie.
Okay,
Right.
thank you for the great presentation. The
Where am
speech
I?
sorry,
hello.
I'm here.
Hello.
Thank you for the great presentation. First of all, it was awesome. And I want to ask about a book you've said.
Yep.
Can you name the dates when it will be possible to buy this book?
Not now. It's so frustrating. So it might be later in August. It comes out in the UK on the 3rd of August. I'm not sure you can get to Amazon here, can you?
We have Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. You can pre-order it. I have a feeling it comes out around the 28th here, because it's a really stupid thing where it ships from the USA. It makes no sense to me. So it's like been written in England and then goes backwards to come here. And for some reason it doesn't publish in the USA until the 28th of August.
Okay,
So,
thank you very much.
You're welcome. If you go to thesearchologist.com, you'll see I have a little thing. You can actually sign up and I'll let you know when it's out as well. I'm beyond excited. And the reason I'm so excited is it's not just me talking. I have 72 other people who have helped me write this book. So it's not, oh, Katrina hasn't recruited for the last few years. It's like, Katrina thought this and these people back me up. It is full of so many amazing ideas. I'm so proud of it because it's not just my effort. So I hope you'll all at some point get a copy because it'll really help. So.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
I'll
Book
go.
plug. Sorry, I didn't
Any
mean to do a book
questions?
plug.
Last questions.
Hi, Katrina. My name is Yana. I work as a IT recruiter at TechRec. And I have a question about Instagram, actually.
Can you pull this up a bit because I can't hear you? Oh, there we go.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Yana. I work as an IT recruiter at TechRec.
Yeah.
And I have a question about Instagram.
Yes.
Yes, it was interesting for me that you told you use Instagram for recruiting purpose. In Russia, it's like more private thing, and I'm not sure if candidates are going to be glad to be invaded by recruiters in many social networks. So I just want to know how exactly you do recruiting in Instagram, for example.
I really need to put some training together on this. I get asked all the time. So for me, it's more about that branding. They're going to come and look at me. Do I look like someone worth talking to? You can source on there. You can source on all of these networks. So you can go and find people and get in contact with them. That doesn't mean you should. So, if I'm sourcing technology, I'm going to go and find their email address and get in their inbox. I'm not going to go and send them a message on Instagram. But I would use it particularly for the company to show that we are genuine people that are worth your time. And for myself personally, it's like, I'm sharing my life on there anyway. I might as well make it public. Not the children photos, that's my caveat on that, but everything else, just to say, if someone searches for me, and if you search, particularly on Google, if you put Katrina Kольер in, Instagram account comes up on the front page of Google. So it's more a branding, it's more a employee branding, as I call it, or a personal recruiter branding.
Got it.
And yes, you could use the hashtags to attract people to you. Yes, you could go and source on there, but it's the long game. It's the keep in touch game.
Yes.
So, are you in an agency or in a company?
No, company, right?
Okay.
American IT company.
Yeah.
So we actually have a professional profile, hashtags, but does it mean that, for example, me personally as a recruiter, I have to have my Instagram account public, not private?
You don't have to, but I'm just saying how much nicer it would be if they could see you. So some of the people who've just been through the job search, you send your CV into the applicant tracking system and you get an email that says, "Thank you for your CV from the talent acquisition team." And you're like, wow, I feel special. A team has just, you don't get like, "Thank you from Katrina Kольер, here's my email, here's my phone number, if you've got any problems get in touch with me," because like 1 in 100 job seekers will actually call you, but you don't. So there's no personal side. People want the personal side. So when you're recruiting where there's a shortage of people, you have to be accessible. So it gives you a way to kind of be accessible, and they're getting all of those emails I showed you at the beginning, and they just want to go, "I'm going to look this person up." If you have a very easy to search name like mine is, it's like make it easy for them to find information about you. So you don't have to. I just think it's got 1 billion people on it. It's a lot of users.
Okay, thank you so much.
That's right. Can I do one more? Yeah, go on.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Okay. Last.
There's a microphone coming your way. Of course. Don't fall off the stage. That's probably
about
the main
Instagram
one.
also. In Russia, it's much more private resource, but we try to talk with our clients in Instagram with professional page. But what you're doing if your clients, colleges, partners come into your private Instagram? What to do?
In what respect? They follow your private Instagram?
Is it normal practice?
See, I personally don't care.
We are opening people.
So my clients, so for those of you who are on agency side, so your clients are HR and recruiters, which is what mine are, because that's who I teach, I teach in-house recruiters and HR. So I follow them on Instagram and they follow me and we keep in touch and I see what their real lives are like.
Communicate, yes.
So to me it's like the easiest one. One, the engagement's much higher on there, and two, I get to really see what their lives are like. So I get to go, oh look, your child's just graduated, or you've just been hiking on the weekend or whatever. So I actually prefer it. I find it easier to keep in touch with my clients. But I have many HR and recruiters on my Facebook friends as well. So my network has become a lot less personal. because it's easy to chat with people in there and keep in touch with them. So I don't know.
It's
With
really a
Instagram
tendency
again,
for us.
you can have a separate account for Instagram for the really private stuff, and a slightly more active one where you could go, actually follow me here.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you
done?
very much, Katrina,
I'm free,
for
thank
the
you.
very great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.